Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 147. I'm your host, as always, Dan, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, it is Samson. Samson, how you doing? How's things?
I am doing well. Weather is good. Got this nice, clean haircut. Got a couple weddings for a high school and a college friend coming up. Pretty excited. How's
I mean, I also got a fresh haircut. It's not as faded as yours is on the back and sides. You know, I'm trying to keep my hair before it all goes away. But yeah, see.
Oh, Dan.
What?
Dan, I was saying to somebody, I was like, hey, do I have something in my mustache here?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, nah. I was like, am I just getting grace?
Oh, it's at that time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's that time.
Like, damn, oh no.
Oh no. It's the start of the ending. That's okay. There's always hair dye. You know, you could do that. My dad still does that.
I'm I want salt and pepper.
Yeah, I feel like the salt and pepper's in fashion right now when it comes to the beard, you know. Older men looking kind of like Sons of Anarchy kind of thing, you know, kind of rough, and just if something suits that thick beard with the gray. Yeah, I like it. Maybe you should download that VR title. What is it? Is it the shaving game? I can't remember what it's called.
This episode brought to you by Manscaped.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
No, I was thinking of shaving
Anyway.
stuff. Shaving stuff is what I'm thinking of. But yeah, no, things have been good. Got some VRing, not a lot that I can talk about today because we're under embargo for the Wallace and Gromit walkabout course, but we will talk about that in much more depth. Actually, in fact, the next week's episode we'll probably talk about that much more. You know, that will be like our main topic for that episode. But before we get into the show here, I just want to state for housekeeping purposes, if you're not already in the Discord, what you doing? We've been 147 episodes right now, and come on down, as Samson likes to say. The Discord is free. There's a link down below. You can go and join it, and then speak with fellow peers, fellow LTO listeners, and like-minded people in there. There's a lot of good people.
I even think that some of our walkabout crew aren't really active listeners, which is quite all right. So even just come down if you're not an active listener and you just happen to catch this episode.
Exactly. People love walkabout in our Discord. And then if you love us so much, you know, throw us $1 at Patreon. You know, keep the lights on. And all that jazz. But Samson,
my lights are off.
Yeah, yes, true. Your lights are off. That's why our Patreon money's running out. We need an extra $1 to turn Samson's lights on. And if you don't already know, if you're listening to this on audio, we are also on YouTube. You can see our lovely faces. Or if you're on video, you can also listen to us whilst you're in the bathtub, you know, or having a shower, or wherever you like to consume your podcast
during that work poop.
Media. Exactly. I don't mind. Wherever you like to listen to us right ahead. Samson, we're going to do things differently again today. We're going to start off with the news, and in part 2, we'll go into what we've been playing and such. So let's get straight in there. We only have 4 news stories on our list. This might be a relatively short episode. Last week, we had our big 2-hour, 47 minutes, I think, to be exact, episode going through the walkabout bracket.
It was a big one.
What was that? Any slight regrets from our number 1 choice? I don't want to give it away just in case no one's listened to that one yet.
Not yet.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, if you're not listened to that episode last week, we did like a walkabout bracket. We pitted all 26 courses, obviously before Wallace and Gromit releases, all against each other, where we found our overall winner to find out the best walkabout course. So as mentioned, if you've not seen that, go check it out. Samson, you ready for some news stories? You ready to know what's happening in the VR
world?
Ready. You're born ready.
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
All right, Samson, you know that Quest 3 that you have? Just throw it out. Just throw it out because the Quest 4 is already on its way. There's been a report from The Information's Wayne Ma and Kelly Huang, who report that the Quest 4 is going to come out on the 2026. There'll be 2 different versions, and also the Quest Pro 2 will be out in 2027. So before we even dive into a bit of this like quote unquote rumor or this report. The reason why you should take note to this is because especially Wayne Ma, he has a good track record with these reports. He reported some of the past meta headsets, including like the smart glasses with the Ray-Ban smart glasses, and he got them all right. So he says he has like around 3 or so sources in the know, people who have worked on these headsets. And, once again, he's giving us the rumor that in 2026, the Quest 4 will be released and there will be a standard and premium model. The code name is Pismo Low and Pismo High. Samson, do you know what a Pismo is?
I don't give a pismo about it.
I don't know what a Pismo is, but that's why I got confused.
I've only ever heard of Pismo Medium, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea what Pismo is. But anyway, Pismo Low and Pismo High.
I will say, Dan, this isn't big news to me. This is almost like announcing that Apple will have a new iPhone in September this year. It's they're on about a 3-year cadence outside of that Quest 1 to Quest 2 jump there. But this is everything that I've been told to understand in this makes me believe that this is not a surprise.
No, it's okay. I challenge you this. It's not a surprise that obviously an eventual Quest 4 will come out, and most 2026 seems like a safe date. That will be 3 years after the last headset. Well, I mean the Quest 3, the one that we have right now, which seems like a solid timeline, right? Towards the end of the year, 2026. That's no surprise there. The slight surprise, or the thing that you might be curious about, is that they'll release a standard and premium model, the low and the high, seemingly at the same time in 2026. Now, with the whole rumors of the Quest 3S planning to be released this year, or maybe in the space of the next 2 months, come September with the Connect, that will only be 2 years after and such. So it's an interesting strategy that instead of, maybe they've just realized that they don't want this to happen again where there's such a big gap. So people opt to either not buy that the higher end Quest 3 and just keep buying Quest 2s and then be stuck on that older platform. They don't want this big gap, and next time when this comes around, they kind of want how the Xbox did it with the Xbox Series X and the Series S, where there's like 2 different versions, higher and lower, and you can just opt in, and you'll be opting into that new generation straight from the get-go. So that would be the interesting thing, shall we say?
I definitely, I hear what you're saying, and I do think that they don't want to have a year in between the Quest 4 and the Quest 4S, right? That doesn't really make sense to me.
No,
it does make sense to release them at the same time, because I don't think they really eat into each other. They're different. They're $200 apart at the very least, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I mentioned. Like, I think the problem is that if they don't release a more budget friendly one, then people buy the older one when it goes on sale and such, and then exactly. Then these people are stuck, and then obviously when a lot of people bought the Quest 2 this year because there've been countless of deals. But then a Quest 3S comes around, which has a new chipset where games like Batman, for example, will only be able to played on the Quest 3 S, amongst quite a few others coming out the end of the year, like Behemoth. I'm not actually, it was Behemoth. I can't remember that for a fact, but
it's supposed to.
Yeah, so like so you kind of starting to isolate all these people who just paid in. So it's important to do this. So that's definitely the interesting part of it. I mean, as seasoned veterans in VR who do a podcast, will obviously be going for the premium model. But I'm wondering, if they do release it at the same time, will it be literally a black version and a white version? To just kind of distinguish between the two.
Differentiate them.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But then you've got the higher end Quest headsets. So you've got the most likely the Quest Pro 2, which is also going to be due to release in 2027. There's been a lot of reports that this is they've kind of scrapped the Quest Pro, and the Quest Pro 2 should be out sooner rather than later. But it looks like they're just focusing on the mainline Quest brand for now, and then once technology becomes maybe a bit cheaper, maybe a little bit better, that's when they'll flex their muscle, shall we say, with that Quest Pro 2. And that's going to be in 2027, but it's codenamed La Jola. I do not...
La 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 Jola.
Where are all these names coming from? I do not know. But I guess they're good code names if people don't have a clue what they are. So
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That'll be interesting to be competing with whatever Apple has out at that given time.
Right, it'll be interesting to see because that'll be 2027. So you'd expect Apple that will probably be the next time a mainline Vision Pro comes out. There might be a cheaper one that's been kind of rumored, but 2027 is a good bet that the next new one will be as well. Yeah.
La Jolla is a Latin American Spanish hilly seaside neighborhood within the city of San Diego.
Well, there we go. If I was walking around saying La Jola, I'd have no idea what I'm talking about because that's just not how you pronounce it. But yeah. So be interesting. Like I think as a seasoned Apple user with my Mac and my phone and such, I think if I was ever going to go and opt into a high-end headset, the Meta Quest has to be something Pro, would have to be something spectacular over Apple, and I think most likely I would personally just go for the Apple one. But I know not everyone is in the same boat as me, so
price-wise, it would,
price-wise would be an interesting one.
Way more.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting one. But anyway, that is a news story one. Moving on to news story 2, things that are a bit more relevant to today. The Quest phone app has been rebranded to the Meta Horizon app. It's also had a big redesign. We've got, if you've looked on it, Samson, things are in different places. I got very confused. Have you been on the app? Have you been on the app yet?
Yeah, it changed for me about a week or so ago, I believe. And now you got your big avatar. You got to go through a lot more button presses to get. I've basically figured out where all the things I look for are, which are the referral thing. How to send a referral. How to cash in on that. How to find my library. How to find my gallery. And how to find the store.
The referral codes are a little bit easier to find. You still have to go to your account settings, but when you get into there, there's a button for it right there. You don't have to press in a couple more. So it's redesigned. It's turned into more of a light mode. I think you can change it back to dark mode if you want to.
Oh, I went right back to dark. What monster wants light mode?
Some people like light mode. The only thing I like light mode for is for like Google Docs or Word or it's not like a word processing, because obviously the paper is white. I don't want a black page, I don't want to be looking like I'm writing on a chalkboard, shall we say. Apart from that, everything else is dark mode for me as well.
Big dark mode guy.
But
and there's more Horizon stuff pushed, I imagine.
There is.
I try to avoid it.
The thing is, it's because they're kind of trying to rebrand a lot of this for when the software gets released, when the Horizon software, which is going to be what the Quest OS is going to be released to all these third-party VR headsets. What they announced earlier this year, that they're partnering or they're just going to make it open source, kind of for like teams like Lenovo, I believe, who are going to be creating a headset. That's going to be okay. They're using the Horizon platform, so obviously having the store called the Horizon Store and also having this redesign just kind of. It just gets things in motion for that, right? And you might see a headset as early as this year, with Lenovo or something like that. There might be something as early as this year. We don't really know yet. I'm sure you'll see something in the Kinect.
It's kind of like how we use Windows on a Dell or an iPad.
Yeah, exactly like that. The Quest will always be the brand for Meta for sure, but. It's just it's that Horizon name we're just gonna have to get used. We're gonna, the Meta's a bit weird when it comes to their names. They have the Quest, they have the Horizon now, and then they still got Oculus floating around as well. We add to that as well with our podcast name. Maybe it's almost time to go. Let's talk Horizon. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. It doesn't have the same ring to it.
I think that will just remain on the horizon.
Yeah. I read the Upload VR report on this, and they said that the content loading is significantly faster than it was. I don't know if you remember, but it used to be really frustrating on the app because it would take ages to load, or you click onto something and then pick.
That is true.
Yeah. Have you noticed any speeds or at all?
I haven't noticed it not working for me, so I'm inclined to say it's been working, because generally, like a great UI, you're never really like, oh, this is great, but a bad UI, you're like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I haven't been having issues with it.
No, and obviously it now being renamed the Horizon Store. The store is meant like solely Horizon based. Basically, you go on it. It's just like when you load on the Quest now. Like you go on it and it says, go into your world, step into this world, and such. Like they're really pushing that Horizon metaverse. Like that's what they really want to do. I mean, we'll talk more about it in what we've been playing as well. But in what we've been playing, but yeah, they're really pushing it. But we'll see. I think they need to do way more when it comes to Horizon to get people in than just shoving it into their faces, kind of thing.
I've heard good things. It's just not usually why I'm putting on a headset.
Yeah, that's fair. I noticed also when I was doing the script for this part, and normally I go to the store on the website to kind of put out what the games are out this week and such, but it's already changed on the web-based store as well. That's already changed. It's got the redesign. Once again, it's in light mode and such. So yeah, this change is happening across the board, and that is now the Horizon store. So I guess like if someone buys the Quest and they're like, oh yeah, download the Quest app, let's try and find the Quest app, and they just can't find it anymore because it's now Horizon. But these are these naming issues that they can run into. Okay. We got more Quest news. You'd think that
I imagine it'll still come up, kind of like when you search for Twitter. And
that's true. Yeah, that's true. If I search Oculus on my phone, though, nothing comes up anymore. That is now dead when it comes to that app.
Really?
Yeah, at least on my phone, when I do the search, it doesn't come up at all. But anywho, moving on to our third news story. The Quest 3 mixed reality app, or mixed reality features, have now been enhanced for developers. So now developers can use the Quest 3 to scan the whole entire house, and therefore you can now properly have mixed reality apps that can span your entire house, essentially, or entire apartment or
this is dope.
Condo. Yeah. The only thing is with this is that obviously you have to scan it all prior to when you play, and then when you go in, obviously if you've moved things around, furniture around and such, you have to do a rescan. Okay, that's the only kind of downside to this. In the Upload VR article, they mentioned with the Apple Vision Pro, for example, that does it in real time. That does all the scanning in real time. So if you have an object, it knows that the object's there, and it already does the mesh. And if you've moved it, the mesh disappears, etc., etc. So that's like the best case scenario. So then you really don't need to do anything, and you just put it on. That's also a $3,000 plus headset. I mean, it's in Canada now, and it's $5,000, which feels much worse. But yeah, so this is
monopoly money.
It's monopoly money, but you can scan the whole house, which is really good. Because have you ever played any like the full scale kind of MR apps, like is it Drop Dead, the Home Invasion and such?
Oh, I played Drop Dead, but only in a really big room. Never spanned multiple rooms with it.
Right. So, I'm curious. I mean, this might not be around right now. It's just like been pushed out in the developer SDK, but you probably can see developers adopting this very quickly, especially if they need more space.
It'll be interesting seeing, like in Drop Dead, for example, if you had a door on the first floor and then another door on the second floor, like you'd see it, and some things probably up. I'm not sure if you can have multiple floors or if that all has to be on one floor, multiple rooms,
That's true. I don't know. I've not read the cliff notes, shall we say, when it comes to these. But in the Upload VR article, it does say span your entire room, so I'm not sure if it would require multi-story, but that'd be crazy. Like the zombies can just start walking down the stairs. At some point, we'll get to that. We'll get to that for sure. We'll get to that. Okay, so speaking of mixed reality, we've got one more news story to talk about. Chess Club well, Chess Club is a game that I really love. Mixed is now getting mixed reality mode. In fact, it's
finally, Dan.
I know. In fact, it's out now. I think when we did like our top mixed reality experiences like a few episodes ago, I think I had this on my list, but with a question mark. Because I was like, I'm pretty sure this is mixed reality, but it's not. But it wasn't. It wasn't until now. So you can now play in mixed reality. It is exactly how you expect. You can sit in your like kitchen table, and the you map your table just like you would for Demio, for example, and then the board will come on top. I tried it earlier and it works. The thing is, in Chess Club, it's such a easy app when it comes to like input, so it's not really much.
You can do hand tracking too.
Yeah, so I kind of exclusively played this game in hand tracking, to be honest, because it just works so well. But yeah, the mixed reality works just as you just as you think, and you can also bring in all the different boards and all the stuff. You can put it into your room, so you don't have to play with just the standard.
It's very cool, and you can look at, if you have a window and you look out the window, it's those worlds. It's very cool, or it might change the ceiling as well.
Yeah,
very cool. I'm gonna have to check this update out this week.
Yeah, you can actually place like you can add windows, and you can like you said, but you can also add images to your like actual room, so you can have it like spatially anchored. Basically like the spatial anchors that Meta was meant to release but pushed back. They've kind of done something similar, and then you can also put statues in your room and such. You can really deck out your room. I actually don't know if it saves it or not. I only tried it once, so I don't know. But you can kind of deck out your room if you wanted to. You don't have to just play in your living room. They've also lowered the price, Samson. So if anyone's interested in Chess Club, they've reduced it from $14.99 to $9.99 USD.
That's a good deal.
It is a good deal. Do you like me some chess? Do you like playing chess?
Yeah, it's been months since I hopped into this. There was a few months there where I was playing regularly with D-Max.
I remember that.
Yeah. I'm very bad at chess. I never once beat D-Max.
Fair enough.
That's not why we stopped playing. Time and all that.
Sure.
But chess will always be there for me. It's kind of like riding a bicycle.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'll ever really forget how to play chess. And with how bad I am, it's not like my skills will diminish too bad. I'm so bad that I can only get the worse. Getting worse is just like forgetting what the pieces do.
So you're not one to. I noticed when I was in Boston near the Harvard area, they have multiple people sitting at chessboards ready to beat your ass. You're not one of those people who would try for a bit of money.
No Bobby Fischer here.
No, fair enough. But yeah, it's $9.99. I definitely recommend you check it out if you do like me some chess. And also the mixed reality works with multiplayer as well. So kind of like Miracle Pool, where you'll see the other person's avatar kind of floating around in your space. Same thing happens with Chess Club. You can sit down, the other person's avatar's on the other side, and you can play some chess in a bit more immersion. Samson.
Perfect.
Excellent. That's it. That's the news. Just 4 stories to talk about, and that will wrap up part 1. Part 2, we'll talk about what we've been playing and all that jazz. So we'll see you then.
Hey, we know public lobbies in VR games can be a bit toxic, feel a bit empty at times. That's why we created the Let's Talk Oculus Discord, a friendly community that you can join for multiplayer meetups, general VR chat, the game, and chat about VR, fitness motivation, and there's even a very impressive 3D printing channel. Join over 100 of our community members in the Let's Talk Oculus Discord for free. The link is right in the description.
Welcome back to part 2, where we're going to talk about what we've been playing in VR this week. Samson, before we begin, as kind of mentioned at the top of the show, I'm not sure if you've done much, but I've been playing a lot of Walkabout Mini Golf, the Wallace and Gromit DLC, which is out for everybody on the day of recording. Actually, on the day of listening for Patreons tomorrow. I just can't talk about it yet because we're under embargo, so I won't be able to talk about it. apart from saying that it's a walkabout DLC, and you know exactly what you're going to expect, and yeah, I hope you enjoy
Dan,
playing
I've
it.
got great news.
Go on.
I have also under embargo, but I've not hopped into anything.
Oh, perfect. You have no idea what I'm talking about. Fantastic.
So I can't. But I did.
Go on.
Speaking of games we've been playing and Walkabout, I did hop into BigScreen, as one in the LTO community does when a Walkabout DLC comes out, and me, Cobalt Dave, and D-Max all watched 2 Wallace and Gromits. We watched the Evil Trousers, or
The wrong trousers. The wrong trousers.
The wrong trousers, yep. And we watched the original one, which was Wallace and Gromit. I don't know what it's actually called, but they go to the moon. The moon's made out of cheese. They meet a robot. Spoilers. Each one's about a half hour long, and my God, how amazing they are.
They're great,
I particularly love the wrong trousers. That is one of my favorites. It's got the evil penguin dude. I forget his name off the top of my head.
Yeah.
He's got a wonderful name, though.
He does have a wonderful name, and I always forget his name for some reason. What is Feathers McGraw? Feathers McGraw.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. And it was just all together a great time in BigScreen, and great time watching Wallace and Gromit. Very much looking forward to the course. Very much looking forward to talking about the course. As many of our listeners know, we like to talk about Walkabout.
We do like to talk about Walkabout. Fun that Dave has never actually watched Wallace and Gromit. This is his first time, which was really fun. And
D-Max as well.
Wow, and then I think both of them really liked it. The one you're talking about, by the way, the first one's called A Grand Day Out, where they go to the cheesy moon, shall we say. You got the wrong trousers. A close shave is another one. I don't remember A Close Shave as much, to be honest, but the other one is The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. The Curse of the Were-Rabbit was actually in the theaters. It was like a full-on movie length.
Big time.
Yeah, I want to say it's like 90 minutes long or such, so it's like a full-on movie. That was a good one too, though. I had a good time watching that. And then they have another one coming out this holiday, actually, that they announced that they're going to come out with a new one, which is going to be really fun. I don't know what that one's called yet, but it's going to be a TV one, so definitely check that one out. So yeah, it's Wallace and Gromit is so much fun. You don't have to be British to like it. Well, like a lot of British comedy sometimes are, right? Sometimes they're very but you don't have to. It's just very charming. It's a beautiful animation.
Slapsticky.
Yeah, it's slapstick, and it's great for everybody, kids and adults as well. So yeah, I'm glad you. Did you watch them before? Have you seen those 2 ones before?
Yeah, I've seen them before.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, sweet. Samson, go ahead. You start first. I know you just went into BigScreen, but tell me something that you actually played.
Yes. So thank you. Shout out to Kimmy Kai in the Discord for posting a Witchblood referral. So I got into a little bit of this one, played about a half hour just to get the vibe. I'm kind of digging it. I look forward to playing a bit more of it. It plays in mixed reality. You can control the size of the screen. It's sort of like you can look into it, though, right? It's got depth.
Yeah.
You can't really move back and forth. It's like a side scroller, like a 2D Metroidvania.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different doors. There's a map. You got to figure out what rooms lead to what rooms. Slowly upgrade yourself to get to be able to go to new rooms. I've gotten a couple upgrades. I haven't really used the map much because I've just been trying to enjoy and figure it out on my own before I really, sink my teeth into it. Mm-hmm. So far it's feeling pretty good. I've got a wind move where I throw some wind to get a little distance attack, a range attack, if you will. And I've got a sword that has been upgraded. Nice. And now it stabs a little bit faster so far.
Nice.
I'm still very early in this game, but I'm digging it. It plays in mixed reality, which is kind of nice, but you don't need the mixed reality and you can change it. Yeah. And it is really nice that you can really scale up and scale down all the characters, so you can, play. You can have it your way.
This game's a PC game, right? Is not on Quest, or is it on Quest as well?
This was on Quest. It was a Rift Store game,
Right?
And it just came out on Quest.
Oh, okay, sweet.
On the Rift Store, it's like $8, and on Quest, I believe it's 15.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. And does it play well? Like, does it feel pretty good? And did you ever play it on Quest at all?
Never played it before, but Live Open Mike talked about it on his podcast. So after that, I bought it on PC. But then a day later, it was announced to be coming to Quest. So then I returned it on PC, never played it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'll just wait and play this on Quest.
Nice. And then would you play it primarily in mixed reality? Do you prefer it that way? Or
I've been playing solely in mixed reality and watching something or like having something else, or just I like having awareness.
That's it's something about,
especially this game. It feels like you're playing on a TV, right? It's a side scroller 2D game, so like you don't really need to be in that world.
No, not to be honest, but yeah, I mean, I think especially because this is a platformer game, so it's kind of like the Lego one, Bricktales and such, where like it's just a little bit.
So no aliasing.
Yeah. Okay, so it does look good. That's so weird that game has aliasing. Maybe it just has so many elements packed in and such that it just can't. I don't know. I don't know these things. But yeah, okay, fair enough. That's Witchblood. How
about you? What you gonna do?
I tried Hide the Corpse. This game is in early access right now, shall we say. You can get it on the store. I think it's $15. That might be Canadian, so it might be around $10-12 USD. So this is the game that we spoke about when we did the whole Upload VR showcase. We've had a couple of long episodes recently, haven't we? When we went through every single game, and Hide the Corpse was one of the ones that actually stuck out. Now, the whole premise of this is a crime has just happened, or basically you just killed somebody, and you need to now hide. The police are on their way. You can hear the radio; they're on their way, and you got like a timer, and you got to hide the corpse in a creative way before the cops come. And then once you've hidden the corpse, so if you still got lots of time, feel free to open the door. And then the cops are right there with like a badge and a gun, and then they go searching basically in the apartment. And if you successfully hide the corpse, then you pass. Essentially, you get like ranked and such. But
then you get off.
Did
you successfully hide the corpse?
I did once. I didn't the other times. It's actually quite difficult. So in the early access, there are. I didn't write this down. I want to say 3, maybe 4 different maps essentially. So the first one, for example, is in his apartment. I'm assuming it's his apartment.
It's all ragdoll, right?
It's ragdoll, but the ragdoll's so heavy. I mean, a corpse is going to be heavy, let's be honest. But they've actually done it like a real corpse, I assume. Because it's got a lot of weight, and sometimes it's hard to pull. Like you're trying to pull him across, and then you kind of like, if you move your arms too quickly, you automatically let him go, and you're like, sake, and you do feel the weight. It's really weird, and I got tired of playing the game because I was just like, I didn't refund the game. I still want to give it more goes, but
it's $12.99.
It's $12.99. So he's heavy. So the first one, for example, you're in an apartment, and it's a small apartment. It's tough nowadays, and it's a small apartment. It's tiny, but you have a bedroom. It's a 1 bed and such. What I did is actually he had a pool table in his apartment. So I guess tough times. He's got a nice apartment, but you can see that there's special sensors and like fingerprint IDs and such all around the walls or hidden and such. So you got to grab his hand and basically put his hand on the handprint, or there's like a footprint where you got to grab his foot and put it on the footprint. Anyway, let's say you do the footprint one, that flips up the pool table. So you can there's like a big gap where you can just like throw them in, and then as soon as you press it back, the pool table like flips back down, and then you can hide the body that way. So that's the one way I did it first time, and then I opened the door, and the cops came in, and they were looking around. They were looking in the pool around the pool table, but they couldn't figure out how to open it. I succeeded, but I only got like 1 star out of 3 or something like that. And then there was also a bunch of different items, and I said I had 1 out of 6 and such. So I realized that there's a lot of replayability because you can jump back in and go, okay, I've done the pool table, and that's probably a very easy one to
hide
do.
in a different spot. Yeah.
Try and hide him somewhere else. There's like other, like I said, handprints and such that you could use. There's also things everywhere. Now I didn't really get this, but like there's a record with his name on it. There's like a driving license with his name on it and such. And I thought, okay, maybe you just have to kind of get rid of those. So I just kind of got him and tossed him into random places and such, but that didn't really work. So I'm assuming where you hide the body, you also want to hide all of the stuff, evidence that he was even here, in somewhere else or at the same place or something like that. So there's a bit more than just the body itself, but like I said, I found it very difficult with that corpse. The corpse was heavy. The second one is a like mechanics garage. So you have like 2 or 3 different two cars there. But it's just because of the different environments, you know, you have to really think more creatively in where you're going to hide this body. It's not just in the house, where this time, like I hid him underneath the car, but the cops found him straight away. You know, so I was like, uh-oh, busted, whatever. But then there's different creative ways you can do it. Like there's a big vacuum that you can try and suck him up, or try and suck all these items up that you can see all around, you know, and such. And there's obviously the trunk of the car, but maybe you need to close it, but then move something else so that then the cops can't go into it. Or like, or in the garage, the car's like raised up, so you put him underneath the car, and then you want to put the car back down. But I tried that, and they found that one because there was still a big gap because the car was still on, even though I brought the car back down, the wheels were still raised slightly because it was on this like I don't know, let's say it was on a crank or something like that,
or whatever.
Yeah. But because of that, they could still see that the body was under, so I got found out. So I actually couldn't solve it. I was tried so many times, I couldn't solve this one. And it kind of stresses you out because, like I said, the corpse is so heavy. I don't know if I've told you this already. And you've got the timer coming down as well. So it's like, oh, shoot. And then you can hear the radio.
You always see that, right?
You always see the timer, and you can always hear the radio of like the cops on their way or something and whatnot. So, which is quite fun. So it's a cool concept. I don't know what else they need to do in particular with the mechanics. Like I said, you know, the mechanics itself feel pretty good because, you know, with the corpse being the weight of it is, I don't think they plan to change that because they want to have it as hard as that is. Right. But maybe, you know, they can add more environments, maybe brush up some of the glitches that can happen. Like that, for example, in the apartment, there was the handprint. I was putting his hand on it and it just wouldn't open no matter what. But then I put it on something else and that would open. So I was like, that's weird. And then I put my own handprint and it says no, like error or something like that. So maybe there's a few like bugs and glitches to kind of iron out. But, you know, if you want to try, I believe there's a free trial for this as well for like 15 minutes. Yeah. So if you just want to try it for free, go download Hide the Corpse. For some reason, I had a hard time trying to find it on the app on the Quest Store. On the Quest Store app on the actual Quest device itself on the headset. But I found it through the phone and through the website really easy, and I bought it through there. And then I think I told you about this last week's episode or the week before, where I downloaded it, but it wasn't showing on my Quest. But you know, literally if like an hour or two later, it finally showed up. So it just needed updating. But yeah, gotcha. So try Hide the Corpse. It's free. Go try it.
Nice.
Try it. But anyway, yeah, over to you.
Good luck hiding all those bodies, people.
It's just the one body. He just seems the same guy. He just keeps dying every time.
That's crazy. He's the same clothes too, huh?
Exactly the same.
That's wild. So I'm going to sneak in 2 here because one was real brief. About 2 years ago or so, I supported a Kickstarter called All On Board. It's a app where you play board games. And I finally hopped into it a little bit. It's got 2 board games. I think they're real board games. I'm not sure if they're like it's their own, you know, type of board game that they developed. I have a few other copies of the game through the Kickstarter, but I haven't given them to anybody, so I don't know anybody else with the game yet. So I didn't actually try to play anybody in the games, but I wanted to give it a little bit of a quick shout out because it will be coming to the Meta Store, I believe. Like it was fully supported, and I've got my eyes on it.
Nice.
So now our listeners do have their ears on it.
I noticed that I'm just looking on their Kickstarter page. They have games that very much look like real games. Like there's a Catan game that kind of is basically Catan, and there's also like a Guess Who game that you can play, but they're not named like the actual license, which makes sense.
Right.
So they're just like heavily inspired type of games.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Settlers of Not Catan.
Yeah, Settlers of Not Catan. That's cool.
And yeah, Dan, I finally got into a little bit of Maestro.
Nice.
I did the whole tutorial level thing, whatever, the whole concert. I enjoyed it so much I tried to go buy it.
Yeah.
And then I realized that you can't buy the full version yet.
It's still coming soon. But it says summer coming soon.
It's pretty fun. The pointing, the crescendoing, the decrescendoing.
Yeah.
The pointing I feel like is the easiest one to if I kind of like knew one was coming, because you don't have to get it exact. No. I would just be doing this. It is kind of crazy how they have you doing some things leading into others that like you've got to have peripheral.
You do. Field of view is important in this game.
Yeah, but it was pretty fun, pretty cool.
Yeah, is it a game that you're probably gonna try to get more pick up? I mean, you said
I looked at the track list. Yeah, I looked at the track list. Honestly, it's a little more expensive than I want to spend on what I'm spending.
How much is it?
In this, it's like $25.
Oh, okay.
But I enjoyed that tutorial enough to make that purchase for now. It's always possible I cancel my pre-order and get a referral and buy it then. But we will see what happens. The track list looked pretty good.
I don't think I've seen the track list, but I'm already on board. I'm just already on board. It's just
I had fun.
Yeah. Fair enough. Where is the track list? I'm see if I can grab it whilst we're on this call here. Okay. Yeah,
I think I just saw it in the app.
Like they have it. They have it on. They have it on their website. If you have a look, I'm gonna just throw out a couple here. You've got some Beethoven, the Fifth Symphony. You've got some Tchaikovsky with Swan Lake. You've got some Mozart, Figaro's Wedding. You've got Wagner,
Figaro.
The Ride of Valkyries, and you got a bunch more. There are going to be a range of genres, I believe, not just classical. I think they're going to try and put a bit of hip hop in there and such. But I don't know if that's the track list just for now. That's the launch track list rather. But I'm sure they're going to add much more. It's very polished, right? Did you notice that? Like it looks really, really good.
Felt good.
Yeah,
felt pretty good
for sure.
Yeah. And it felt like the user that game's gone through. It seemed like a good amount of user testing.
Yeah, and what I read about it as well this week is that the Maestro, the masterclass, which is the demo on App Lab, that was just made just for the sake of it and just like for fun and such, and that was never going to be a full game. It was just meant to be something like that. But then the game, obviously the demo did so well, they got funding I think the funding was on the side quest developer kind of funding. They were like one of the first people to get it when I think they did. The side quest started doing that last year, and this team behind Maestro were the first people to get it because of how well the demo did on side quest and such. So that's why it's now what it is, and it's coming out right around the corner. We don't have a date; it just says summer, but we're in the middle of summer right now, so we'll see when it comes out. I hope sooner rather than later. I have a great time with that, and I can see it being mixed reality at some point too. I think that kind of defeats the point in terms of like the orchestra part, in terms of not the orchestra, in terms of the theater part. But I don't know, mixed reality is being pushed so much. I can see Meta being like, hey, if I give you some more cash, potential. Can you just put like an orchestra in your living room kind of thing? So yeah. Anyway, all right, that's Maestro. I guess I'll jump back in here. I played a bunch of Infinite Inside. Not as much as I wanted to, but Played a bit. Infinite Side, I've talked about many times on this pod, but for those of you who don't know, it's a puzzle game that just came out. It uses mixed reality, but also VR. So essentially, you're in mixed reality, and you have this tower that comes from your floor, basically, and
the inside,
and there's a bunch of pieces. Think of them like 3D puzzles, like puzzling places kind of pieces, and then you kind of fit them in, and let's say they form like a prism, and then you have to put them into the prism area, and then there's always a cube that you have to fill, but the pieces aren't on the tower. You have to step into the labyrinth. So you kind of put this like figure onto this platform that transports you from mixed reality into the labyrinth, and then it's all hand tracking. You use your hands to kind of like teleport across the labyrinth and try and find these pieces. But as you're trying to find them, there's a lot of environmental storytelling, very subtle, but environmental storytelling that's happening. You're trying to figure out, like, I still don't have a clue what's happening in terms of story because I'm only a few chapters in, but you just kind of figure out, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And why am I in this labyrinth? Like, you're trying to understand this.
Why am I going infinite?
Exactly. It's like if someone's played The Witness on flat screen, it's kind of like that when it comes to its environmental storytelling, where there's you can see things around the whole game, and you're like, oh, there's some notepads here with like puzzle drawings and such, and like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just making my way through the puzzle. It's not as good as The Witness. The Witness is like a 10 out of 10 puzzle game, but it's fun so far. I'm not very good at 3D puzzles. I know you are, Samson, when it comes to like puzzling places. Like, you spend a lot of time in that. I'm not the best when it comes to that. Even with cubism.
I'm not very good.
Cubism, I struggle. Yeah, fair enough.
I just enjoy the struggle.
But it is satisfying when you get it in. Sometimes the hand tracking can be a bit annoying.
That's what she said.
Sometimes the hand tracking can be annoying, like trying to open a drawer or something, and it just wouldn't open properly. Like, you grab it and then it lets go, and it's like, and that's just common hand tracking issues. But on the most part, it's pretty solid. It's pretty well polished, and there's Infinite Inside. I want to play more with it. I've only done a few chapters, but I believe it's only $10. But if you did play the demo when I played it way back in the day earlier this year, you should have it for free. Which is quite nice of them. But yeah, that's definitely Infinite Inside. What else you got, Samson?
All right, what else I got? Hopped into a little bit of disc golf Hyzer flip.
Oh, throwback.
So I just wanted to hop in and see. I know that's been through countless updates since I last hopped in. I just did a hole or two to see kind of what's changed, how it felt. Dan, it felt pretty good, just as before. It's got a few, I think at least one or two more courses since I last hopped in. The coolest thing I noticed, though, when you throw it, at like after you throw it, there's almost like a ghosted freeze frame of your release point, and it shows you the angle and like I think how much power you used or something like this. But it can really help you with identifying how you're actually throwing it, where that release is.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
But that was kind of nice.
Yeah, I haven't hopped in that for a long time. But yeah, that's great that he's still continuing to put it. And we obviously have an interview with him on one of these episodes. I do not remember which one, so you'll have to look back on the archives if you're interested. But
as well,
yeah, you had a chat with him, didn't you, for about an hour or so? So yeah, definitely check that out.
Yep. Did you hop into anything else?
Yes. I did something that's not a game. Samson, do you know who Sabrina Carpenter is?
I do not.
Yeah, I didn't really know her either. She's been popping up on my Instagram a lot as through ads. She seems to be like the hot ticket right now when it comes to pop music. That's not Taylor Swift. I think she's from the Disney Channel and such like
Popping
that.
Off.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm now in the part of my life where I don't pay attention too much to these kind of things. But anyway, she's everywhere. And Meta signed her up to do a VR concert. So I actually just checked it out, like literally before.
It's in
Gone.
Horizon Worlds?
Yeah, and on the Quest TV. You can watch it in there as well.
Okay.
I actually literally just checked it out just before we went live here on this podcast because I was just waiting and I was like, let's just figure this out. I didn't watch the whole 45-minute concert. I kind of skipped through it eventually, but I watched like the first 5-6 minutes until I started skipping through. And the cool thing is that first of all, it's really well done. Like it might be the best concert I've kind of seen in terms of
You didn't make
how
it
it's
that
made.
long.
No. I'm not interested in the music. I'm just saying, like, in terms of visuals. So it
see.
starts off like a proper theater production story in a way. So you're like you're in VR, and there's like a kind of like a old 60s American wasteland with a diner and such like that. And then you've got like a billboard, and Sabrina's on there doing like this kind of like theater show. She's not singing. There's something that's happening. I'm like, what's going on here? So that's why I left it on for a while, and then all of a sudden it transforms you into the kind of concert experience after they give you this like kind of intro, and then you're by the diner. And then you have a bunch of dancers that come out, and it feels like you're watching a theater show, like a play, essentially. And then she obviously comes out, does a song, whatever, and then it has different camera angles that it just takes you to at specific points, and it's just really well produced. And then after a song's been completed, it then cuts to the next song and such. And because it's all solely made for VR, it's not like a concert and then they just put like VR cameras there. It's all really well polished and really well done. And I would actually recommend everyone check this out, even if you don't really care about the music. Just skip through it and such, just because it's so like it's in a really good quality. Like it's full on high def. Like I was very impressed with it. It was something like I would just expect with the Apple Vision Pro in terms of its like fidelity and such. But what I really wanted after I kind of watched a bit of this, I was like, the other day I actually went to the theater. I saw School of Rock, the musical, here in Vancouver, and it was so much fun. But I was like, they could easily bring theater to VR, because even if they didn't want to do it as immersive, but because theater is obviously you're just looking at one kind of area, right? And they could easily bring that, and it would probably work really well. I'm not sure if anyone would want to watch a full theater show, but then people watch whole movies in VR. So what's the kind of like difference and such? So it just looked like, if you checked it out, Samson, if you just flick through after the first 5 minutes or whatever, it feels like you're watching a theater show, albeit it's a concert, and that's just made me want to watch theater in actual, like something like or someone that's really popular, Hamilton on Disney Channel. Like you could watch that full, production. Having that in VR, like you're probably more immersed, like you're on the stage kind of with everyone. Would be really cool. So yeah, check it out. It's free. It is on Horizon if you want to watch it with other people. But if you don't really want to do that, if you just go onto Oculus TV, there is it'll be right in the front. It's like spotlighted, and you could just click on it, and then make sure that you click the settings button and click the quality to best, and then it will look much better. It has auto, but then it could fluctuate. Just put it on best, so it'll force it to buffer in that one area, and it looks really good. I don't think you can download it. But yeah, definitely check it out, just because it just looks really good. I didn't know any of the songs, but it just looks really good. I'm pretty sure she's not real. I think she's like AI. I don't think she's something. She's everywhere all of a sudden, but maybe that's just me not knowing anything about like that kind of cool
she's
shit.
like 25. She's pretty young.
Yeah, that's fair. Samson, that's everything that I've been going through. Anything what you've been doing?
All right. Well, I'm going to go into a little bit here because last week's episode was so long we didn't really talk about what we got into. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about how I played some Tetris Effect with live open mic and one other person from his Discord. Sorry, I forget your name, but we had a great time. That was Mike's first time playing that multiplayer. It was my second or third time playing that multiplayer. It's a good time. It's just 3 people taking on one boss, and you're basically working individually, but at one point they connect all 3 of your boards, and then so that's where you're connected, if you will.
Yeah,
it's a good time. Recommend it if you're into it. If you have 2 other people to play with.
Nice.
Then got my girlfriend's daughter into Colorspace, which is an app that is basically a VR coloring book. You have a palette on one hand, you have a laser on the other. You can pick the color, and then you point and you color in everything's white, and you just color it in however you'd like. Yeah.
Nice.
She was digging it, and the UI was simple enough that she could get it. Her hands don't really fit on the controllers too well. And then I got her into First Encounters. Also, she was digging that, hopping all around.
That's the mixed reality one, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, Grocket, her favorite.
Yeah. Always back to Grocket.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And then I got into a very little bit of Thrasher. I don't really want to talk about it much because I got into probably under half hour.
Sure.
I'm digging it. Just, life. And I'll get into
more
ideally more of that in Witchblood this week. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, fair enough. Thrasher does come out today. In fact, Thrasher comes out as we're recording this, and this kind of ties us straight into games out this week. So let's wrap up part 2 here, and then we will see you shortly in part 3, where we'll talk about the 2 games that are out this week. So we'll see you then. Let's Talk Oculus is available on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. If you want to see the video version, it's available on YouTube and Spotify. And also, if you love us so much, then consider throwing us $1 at patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to part 3, the games out this week. Samson, we have 2. You just kind of spoke about your girlfriend's daughter in Colorspace. I feel like this first one might be perfect for her. What we got going on?
Throwing me the long one. I like it. Such art. It's realistic painting. Painting in such art feels just like in real life, but without the downsides. The colors mix as you would naturally expect them to, so you can easily achieve the results you dreamed about. The paint has realistic texture, and each instrument alters it a bit with different strokes. There's plenty of instruments to choose from, brushes, palette knives, stencils, or even flamethrowers to create your next masterpiece. Paint everywhere. Turn the world around you into huge canvas. Do whatever you please with it. Upgrade and design your studio, sell, and expose your art.
Yeah, have you seen the trailer of this?
No.
Okay, let me explain this, even though you just went through the game. This kind of seems like what you just kind of mentioned with Colorspace, but it's not just another like painting VR or another Vermilion, although you can do that. So there are canvases involved, and you can create your own art just like you can with Vermilion and such like that. But it also puts you into this kind of room where you can do whatever you want. So the room itself can be painted. So you can paint the room. You can have like graffiti cans and do kind of graffiti, or you can have like actual objects. So there might be like a small thing, like there might just be a cube, or there might just be like an airplane, like a small little jet or whatnot, or like fun, like cartoony kind of designs. They're not just like, oh, this is a realistic plane, paint this plane, but you can just like splash color. You can paint it however you want and such, and then you can collaborate with other people as well. Yeah,
apparently this is a flat game, came out to Steam October 2022.
Yes.
And now it's come to VR, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's a flat game itself. It's a flat game, and people really wanted it in VR, and now it's coming out in VR. It does say it's single user. However, like what you mentioned, you can sell and expose your art, so you can sell your paintings in the marketplace and such. Or maybe I've got it wrong, because just on the trailer, there's like a bunch of kind of like art avatars, which people are looking around the marketplace as well. I don't know. Maybe that's not proper multiplayer, or maybe that's just like, just pretend. I don't know. It does say single player on the thing, but regardless, I think people should check this out, especially if you're into painting, maybe yourself as well. But this might be maybe a little bit too much for a 4-year-old, but maybe you could just throw her into a room and go like, here's a graffiti can, and just go crazy, It looks like there's a lot you can do rather than just have a canvas, right, that you paint and such. So it looks really fun. I'm tempted to buy this game. Maybe not when it comes out, but like sometime in the future. But yeah, if there's a trial, for sure to try this game out. But it just looks fun. It just looks more fun than just having a canvas, right? Just there's something else that you can really do with it. It's a bit more unique. So yeah, like you said, it's a big game on the flat screen, and it's coming to VR. And it's around $22 not Canadian, USD. So go pick that up.
There you go.
These sometimes these numbers are a little bit weird. Like for it's not like a proper amount. Actually, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's probably USD is like 22, but then that translates to Canadian 25.51. So that's probably why it's a bit odd. But yeah, you should definitely check out the trailer. Have a look at it. It seems silly. You can, as you mentioned, you could use stuff like flamethrowers and such. So it seems like just wacky.
It's $15.99 USD in the pre-order discount right now.
Yeah. But that won't be here when people listen to this podcast.
Yeah, no, that'll be $19.99.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. It's $20. All right, sweet. The next one is Thrasher. Thrasher is obviously the game that you've been playing a little bit. That comes out. It's from the artist and composer behind the cult hit Thumper. Comes Thrasher, a mind-melting arcade action odyssey with a visceral audio-visual experience. With the wave of your hand, guide a magnificent space eel through breathtaking and unsettling landscapes. Swoop, dash, and thrash to defeat wild bosses in the ultimate race for survival. This looks like a very simple game, I'm not going to lie. But Thumper was too, I believe. It's more about the visuals, the music, and just like the experience more than anything, right?
You're not really moving around too much. You're sort of controlling this one little snake dragon and guiding him around and trying to do the levels as fast as possible.
Got it.
Yep. $19.99, I believe.
So yeah, I have this game. I just haven't tried it yet. So yeah, I'll definitely try and jump in. Samson, that's it. That's our show. That was a short and sweet show.
Dan, Dan, I got news because I don't have a cookie on me, but I did find a website called fortunecookiemessage.com.
God.
So, Dan, you cannot become rich except by enriching others.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I think you can enrich your girlfriend's daughter by buying such art and putting her in there.
I don't know. No, I don't know about that.
But yeah, a little short and sweet episode. Obviously, we'll continue next week with some more LTO goodness. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. As mentioned, join the Discord if you haven't already. Submit questions if you have any questions for us, and then anything that you want us to cover on the show. Let us know.
Keep it to yourself. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Let us know, definitely.
Ignore Samson. He's just there for the ride. Ignore him. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone listening. We'll take you out next week. Take care.